Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends, and yeah, guys, today I am back with another series for you guys, which is gonna be what if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of Cell Max. So, yeah, guys, it is gonna be really OP of a series. So, hopefully, you guys will like it. And yeah, guys, for the next part, the like goal is gonna be 200 likes and 80 comments. Do that, and I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. So, yeah, guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 20k subscribers, and you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. And yeah, guys, I've already put the link of my Instagram within the description below, so please follow me on Instagram. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the story. So I'm gonna start my story with a figure could be seen flying over a deserted planet, as this figure was none other than our hero of the story, Naruto Uzumaki. At the age of 13, he was looking down on almost destroyed planet as Naruto simply had a smirk on his face. Well, it seemed that these weaklings or Suskes really are efficient in their work, as Naruto in his hand was simply a, you can say, almost dead body of a Ususuke, as Naruto was grabbing him. As he said, well, your kind is really something else, destroying planets left and right, just for these small fruits. Not that I'm complaining, as Ususuke was barely alive in Naruto's hand, as Naruto's hand suddenly changed into a, you can say, a strange figure, like a, you can say, Cell's tail, as he stabbed into the body of the Ususuke as he tried to scream, but no screams came from his body, and just like that, he was absorbed as Naruto's eyes changed for a second as he said, well, this is power, as he looked towards his body and then looked towards the fruit of the, you can say, 10 tails. As he started to eat it hungrily, as his power once again exploded out of his body, as he started to laugh like a maniac. I suppose it is time that I return back to that weak planet. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm just playing with it anyways, as Naruto thought in his mind, and just like that, his aura engulfed him, as a yellow aura engulfed him, and just like that, he was gone within blinding speeds towards the elemental nations. And now, let us get back to Konoha. Namikaze Minato was looking towards his village with a smile on his face. Everything was going perfectly, according to his mind anyways, as he looked towards the Hokage table where some of the papers were present, but he simply ignored them, looking towards his family picture, as his family, as Menma and Mito were training as hard as possible, and today is the graduation exam. Today they are gonna become shinobis, but his eyes looked towards another figure that was in the picture, as a small frown came to his face as he simply shook his head. Naruto was not like his siblings, he was always a strange one. Not that he was as talented as Menma and Mito, so they never bothered to train him anyways. He was already exiled from the clan according to the law, but Minato never mentioned it, so they simply gave him a small apartment and some money until the age he becomes a shinobi. As he simply shook his head, honestly, he believes that Kushina went a little overboard with that decision, but anyways, it is not like he is gonna object to that. After all, as the Hokage, he has to protect the Jinchuriki, so therefore, if it is the only way, then he's gonna do it. So he simply shook his head and then smiled towards the village as a figure arrived in the Hokage office, as this was none other than Jiraiya. As Jiraiya had a bright smile on his face. Well, Minato, I have finally returned back to the village, as Minato gave a small smile to his sensei. Well, Sensei, I welcome you back, but I already know that why you're here. As Jiraiya started to chuckle, well, you are a genius anyways. I am here for Man My Mito. I suppose today they're gonna graduate, so I want you to put me as the in charge of their team, as a Sanin. I should be able to train them even better. As Minato thought it for some time. Well, Sensei, I do not think that the council is gonna like that, but I will try to do what I can. As Jiraiya frowned a little but decided not to comment on that, as he already had plans for Menma and Mito. After all, the great elder Toad Sage has spoken, so therefore he has to bring Menma and Mito to the, you can say, Mount Miyaboko as soon as possible. So now let us get back to Naruto, as Naruto was simply looking down towards the village of Konoha, flying in the air. As he had a smirk on his face, his power was truly beyond this world. He can simply destroy this village. Honestly, it would be too easy for him if he so desire. But he's gonna play along. After all, he doesn't have much things to do. So he's gonna play with this world. After all, this world belongs to him. As Naruto smirked evilly at that, but arrived at the academy anyways, as Aruka was simply looking towards all the children that were present there with a proud look on his face, as he was thinking that how fast all of them has already grown, and today they're gonna become full-fledged shinobis. As he decided to, you can just start the whole test with Mizuki. So now let us skip that. As Mizuki simply looked towards all of them, and now let us get back to Naruto, as Menma and Mito has already passed their test and they had huge smiles on their faces as Mito noticed Naruto but decided not to say anything. Both of them already know that who Naruto was, but they really didn't have any bond with him. After all, from the age of 6, he was, you can say, simply placed outside of the mansion of Namikaze's, as he was given his own apartment, even though they were a bit jealous, thinking that their older brother was getting an apartment. But they were not getting. But soon enough, they realized that Naruto was no longer a part of their family. According to their mother, it was good for both of them, as Naruto already had Namikaze genes. So therefore, he was not considered a pure Uzumaki from the aspect of Kushina. So therefore, it was not exactly a, you can say, loss for the clan. But anyways, they simply shook their head as Naruto finally arrived in front of Iruka with a bored look on his face, as Naruto was different from all of these children. They were only, you can say, few inches tall, while on the other hand Naruto looked like he was at the age of 16, as which made several, you can say, ladies in the whole village blush. After all, Naruto did not have a reputation of a demon or anything like that, even though he was isolated from the Uzumaki Namikaze family, but it was a clan decision, so therefore they do not comment on that. As Aruka looked towards Naruto, as I said, well Naruto, all you have to do is to perform these 3 ninjutsu. If you're able to do that, then you will be able to graduate. As Naruto simply nodded at that, and just like that, within seconds, Naruto performed all the techniques that were required of him, surprising Iruka with the ease that Naruto performed it. He didn't even see hand signs. This was truly something else. But he simply smiled towards Naruto as I said, well Naruto, congratulations, you have already passed, giving Naruto the headband. As Naruto simply nodded. Now, after the whole graduation facade was over, all the students were finally coming outside of the academy where all the clan heads were present, already waiting for their heirs and children to be there, as Menma and Mito run towards Kushina and Minato, who had already arrived there. Mom, Dad, we graduated, we became a shinobi, as Mito screamed, as well as Menma, as Kushina had a huge smile on her face as she quickly hugged Menma and Mito. As she started to laugh, well, I already knew that you would be able to graduate, as Minato had a proud smile on his face, while in the shadows Jiraiya was simply sitting on the tree. And finally, you can say, he was about to say something else, but then he felt a powerful chakra that was arriving there, as Minato also noticed that as he looked towards the direction of the powerful chakra, as Naruto was casually walking outside of the academy with a headband on his head. As Jiraiya was a bit surprised, the chakra he was sensing, it was already above, you can say, elite Jonin level. It was already meeting up to cage level, as Kushina had a small frown on her face. After all, she could sense that, even though she already knew that Naruto had powerful chakra from the very young age, but it was not as much as Menma and Mito, so she never paid much attention to it. After all, Naruto was connected to that, but as she simply shook her head, looking towards the direction of Naruto, as Naruto arrived casually outside of the academy with a smirk on his face. As Kushina had a small frown on her face, but suddenly a figure rushed towards Naruto. Naruto-kun, as the figure screamed, as this was none other than Uchiha, Izumi Uchiha. As Naruto looked towards Izumi with a, you can say, bad boy smirk on his face, as Izumi came near Naruto, Naruto quickly engulfed her and started to passionately kiss her, surprising all the people that were there. As while on the other hand, Minato had a small frown on his face. This was actually a surprise for him. He has not seen Naruto for quite some time, but he always has kept Ambu to keep an eye on him, even though he was no longer a part of the Uzumaki Namikaze family, but there were still threats of the foreign shinobis attacking him. But they have never reported something like this. Suddenly, some of the killing intent was released from the shadows of Minato as Minato quickly noticed that the Ambo, which was none other than Weasel. As Naruto looked towards Izumi, who was blushing hard. Well, Izumi-chan, I finally graduated, so therefore I am finally an adult. So why don't we go on a date? As Izumi blushed at that before she could say anything, Naruto grabbed her by the waist and vanished within a blur, surprising many of the Jonins that were there as Minato frowned deepened at that as Kushina was looking towards the direction where Naruto was leaving with an angry look on her face, but simply shook her head. Honestly, she did not care about it as she was trying to convince herself after all. The great, you can say, premonition of the Uzumaki clan has already spoken, and that was the only reason she didn't like Naruto. It was a destiny, just like the great Elder Toad Sage as Kushina thought about the great destiny, Naruto has a mark on his body, and according to the Uzumaki legends, that will be the mark on the one that will bring end to the Uzumaki clan. So therefore, Kushina always hated Naruto as Naruto had that mark on his body. So therefore, Kushina hated Naruto, while on the other hand, Minato and Jiraiya has their own reasons. They do not believe on, you can say, this whole, you can say, mark thing, but they have their own things. While on the other hand, Itachi was pretty angry at this point. He honestly hated Naruto with the passion, that brat, but there was little he could actually do about it. After all, not many people know about Naruto's strength, but he knew about it. After all, he still remembered last time when he challenged Naruto, but he simply shook his head. He has to do something. He has to talk with Lord Hokage. After all, he likes Izumi, and he simply cannot simply give up on her. As finally Minato arrived to the Hokage office along with Jiraiya, as Minato looked towards Jiraiya, well, Jiraiya-sensei, I have talked with the council and they have agreed for you to help the team, though they have not agreed of you taking over the team. So Kushina is gonna be the leader of the team. As Jiraiya didn't like that, but decided not to argue. After all, he already knew that how overprotective Kushina was of Menma and Mito. He's not gonna argue with that as he looked towards Minato. Well, Minato, it seems that Naruto has also grown up pretty well. He's pretty taller and his chakra, it is pretty powerful. As Minato frowned at that as he said, well, I already know that, Sensei. His chakra levels are already reaching up to that of the cage level, though it will cause problems for him to control all that chakra. As Jiraiya simply nodded at that. What about that? You can say Uchiha girl. Is the Uchiha clan trying to gain favors from Naruto? At this, Minato shook his head. Fukaku is pretty calm. Over the years, it seemed that the trouble between the Uchiha clan and the village has already resolved. As for Naruto, as he sighed at that, he's a bit of, you can say, a bad boy. I've seen him with a lot of girls all across the village as Jiraiya had a perverted smirk on his face for a second, but he simply shook his head. Well, that brat is enjoying his life. But anyways, it doesn't matter. What actually is important, Minato, is the great Elder Toad Sage prophecy that has been already spoken. So we have to train Menma and Mito even further. I'm thinking that we should bring them to Mount Miyaboko where they can train their 9th chakra even further. At this, you can say Minato simply nodded at that. Kushina is already, you can say, bugging me of training Menma and Mito even further. I honestly do not know what to think about this whole thing, Sensei. And Jiraiya simply shook his head. Well, Minato, Kushina has her reasons. As for the Uzumaki clan, it is already over. So there is not much threat from Naruto. As for, you can say, separating him, I also agree with the idea. After all, he was just a child and being too near to 9th Jinchuriki could have caused him harm. But anyways, we have to think about Menma and Mito now. At this, Minato simply nodded at that. So, the teams are gonna be, as they decided to discuss about the teams, while on the other hand, Naruto was simply walking to a training ground separately. He could already feel several, you can say, shinobis that were actually following him as he had a smirk on his face. Finally arriving to the training ground, he was suddenly surrounded by 5 shinobis. As Naruto simply looked towards them. Well. What brings the great prodigy of the Uchiha clan to me, Shisui? At this, a figure simply walked towards Naruto from the shadows, huh? So you could already feel who I am, huh? As the figure finally removed his Ambu mask as 3 Tomo Sharingan was simply spinning in his eyes. Well, Naruto-gun, it has been some time. Wouldn't you agree? Giving Naruto a false smile as Naruto smirked at that. Yes, of course, Shisui-san. So, what do you want from me? At this, Shisui said, well, I am here to ask you about something. I hope that you do not mind. I want to ask you, what is your relationship with Izumi? As Naruto simply looked towards, you can say, Shisui with a smirk on his face as he said, well, how to explain my relation with Shisui? Well, it is more of a, I do not know how to say this, more of a intimate nature. So you wouldn't understand. After all, everyone know that you are a simple bachelor. At this, Shisui's eyes angered appeared in his eyes for a second as he looked towards Naruto. Izumi is a lot older than you, Naruto. I do not think that this relationship is, you can say, appropriate. As Naruto said, well, what can I actually say? I'm too charming. And anyways, I'm not exactly bored of her just now, maybe in the future. At this, Shisui could not hold it any longer. What did you say? At this, Naruto simply looked to Shisui. Huh, it seemed that you didn't hear me. Well, as I was saying, I'm not bored of her just yet, so you would have to wait for me to get bored so that I can end this relationship. As Shisui had enough as he said, alright, I was being polite just for the sake of it. Now I'm warning you, Naruto, I will not allow you to harm a member of the Uchiha clan. So either you end this today and now, otherwise I'm gonna. Suddenly a figure appeared behind Shisui. What are you gonna do about it, Shisui? As Shisui quickly jumped back, surprised, as he didn't even see Naruto moving from his position and he had already appeared behind him. The other members of the Ambu quickly removed their masks as their 3 Tomo Sharingans were simply spinning. As Shisui stood up, alright, beat him up until he understands what we are actually saying to him. While on the other hand, Shisui already had his Mangekyo Sharingan activated, wanted to see what Naruto truly was capable of. He has heard that Naruto has beaten Itachi. Itachi has never actually talked about it, and he always gets angry whenever this topic was mentioned. So even he didn't knew that how much truth was in it. As the Uchihas rushed towards Naruto, as Naruto started to laugh as he said, it seemed that it's about time that I put the Uchiha clan in their place. True weaklings, begone. As Naruto looked towards all of them, as he pointed 2 fingers towards them, as his fingers started to shine, as energy appeared in them. And just like that, a laser of pure energy released from his hand and hitting all the Uchihas at the same time, as all of them let out screams of pure pain and agony, surprising Shisui, as Naruto had a smirk on his face. Before Shisui could say or do anything, Naruto appeared in front of him, grabbing him by the neck and lifting him into the air. Little Uchiha, you should know your place. I am free to be with anyone who I desire. And for Izumi, well, I have already told you what I think about her. So, know your place. After saying that, he simply slapped Shisui on his face, sending him flying into a tree. As Naruto started to walk away, as Shisui stood up, you think this is over? I will not allow you. And just like that, his eyes started to spin rapidly as a Susanoo appeared. As Shisui was thinking that he's gonna scare Naruto off and he will know his place. After all, he was not gonna actually attack him with Susanoo. After all, it is too over. But before he could complete that thought, Naruto appeared in front of the face of the Susanoo and slapped it. Just like that, slap. As Shisui was shocked, suddenly cracks started to appear as the head of the Susanoo was simply blown off. And the whole body cracks appeared as it shattered as blood was coming from the eyes of Shisui in utter shock as Naruto appeared in front of Shisui as he said, I already have slapped you on one side, so I will make the pair. And just like that, Naruto once again slapped Shisui on the other side of the cheek, and this time it was so hard that Shisui broke off three trees and slammed into a gigantic rock which also shattered. As Naruto looked towards the unconscious form of Shisui and simply shrugged and walked away. After some time, you can say, some of the Ambus woke up and decided to take their companions to the hospital. They're not gonna say that they attacked the son of the Hokage, even though he's no longer a part of the Namikaze and Uzumaki family, but he still had the blood. So therefore, they simply cannot say that how they were beaten up by a newly graduated Jennings as Shisui was humiliated. He was angry and now he has something in common with Itachi once again. While on the other hand, Naruto finally arrived to his home with a smirk on his face. This was not exactly a home, rather, it was a mansion as Naruto finally arrived inside. Now, let us get back, you can say, have a small time skip. The next day, Naruto was simply sitting in his, you can say, seat where Iruka was giving a boring speech as Naruto simply ignored it. After some time, Jonin started to appear as Naruto's eyes met with a, you can say, red hair woman, as this was none other than Kushina, who has arrived to take Menma, Mito, and Sai, as she decided to take all of them, while on the other hand, her eyes met with Naruto for a second as there was only coldness in her eyes. As she looked towards Menma and Mito protectively, Naruto simply raised an eyebrow at that. To be honest, he never understood his so-called mother, but in his eyes, she was simply a weakling not worth his time. But his eyes once again met with a black haired and red eyes beauty, and just like that, his eyes, you can say, a mischievous look came to his eyes. This was none other than Kuronai, who has finally arrived to take her team as she looked towards all the Janins and trying to sense their aura to see that how stronger these people actually were, and her eyes met with that of Naruto. She was a bit surprised. She could feel the aura coming from Naruto. It was like a jonin, if not even above, as a shiver came to her back as she looked towards his eyes, which were full of hunger. As she simply shook her head, decided not to pay attention to that, even though she was a bit attracted towards Naruto, but simply looked towards her team and gave them a signal. As Naruto had a smirk on his face, his eyes met with that of Asuma Sartobi, who had a frown on his face, looking towards Naruto angrily, as Naruto gave him a look of a competition, as Asuma simply shook his head and decided to take his team away. Finally, Naruto's sensei arrived after some time. This was none other than Kakashi Hatake, as Kakashi had a bored look on his face. Alright, my team is Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto, son, and finally Kiyomi Uchiha, the twin sister of Sasuke Uchiha, as Naruto simply looked towards Kakashi with a bored look on his face and stood up, as well as Sasuke and Kiyomi also stood up and decided to follow Kakashi, as Kakashi simply looked towards his team, as he said, alright, why don't you guys introduce yourself? My name is Kakashi Hatake. My likes, well, I don't think that you guys are old enough to know about it. As for my dislikes, I have a lot of dislikes. And for hobbies, well, I do have hobbies. So why don't you start? As Kiyomi scoffed at that. Well, my name is Kiyomi Uchiha, and my goal is to be the strongest female Uchiha in the whole clan and to surpass my older brother Itachi Uchiha. As for my life, as she started to go on about the greatness of the Uchiha clan, while on the other hand Sasuke said the same thing about surpassing Itachi. Finally, it was, you can say, Naruto's turn, as Naruto simply looked towards Kakashi. Well, my name is Naruto. My likes, well, is to, you can say, as she looked towards Kiyomi for a second. Well, in a simple word, I like women. And on the other hand, my dislikes, those are simple weaklings as they look towards, you can say, Sasuke. As Sasuke noticed that as he gritted his state, he has challenged Naruto on several occasions, but he always got a beat down at that, even though he thinks that he's better at, you can say, whole ninjutsu and shuriken jutsu, but he has never beaten Naruto in his whole life in taijutsu. So therefore, he believes that he was still better in other aspects, while on the other hand, Kiyomi looked towards Naruto angrily, even though she had a small blush on her face as, you can say, Kakashi simply raised an eyebrow at that. He already knows who Naruto is, but he never actually had a bond with him, and he already know about the whole situation of the Uzumaki Namikaze family. So he simply shook his head as he said, "Alright, we are gonna have a bell test at this. If you're able to pass that, then you will be my team. Otherwise, you will return back to the academy." At this, you can say Naruto simply looked towards Kakashi with a smirk on his face, while on the other hand, Kiyomi and Sasuke had determined look on their faces as Kakashi simply nodded. So let us go to Training Ground 7 as all of them vanishes and ran towards Training Ground 7 as Kakashi looked towards all of them. Alright, all you guys have to do is to take these bells from me. If you're able to do that, then you will become a shinobi. Otherwise, return back to the academy. As all of them simply nodded as they said, "Alright, begin." After saying that, Kiyomi and Sasuke simply ran towards their respective, you can say, hiding spots, while on the other hand, Naruto simply looked towards Kakashi with a bored look on his face as he said, "Well, Kakashi, I can already feel your aura. You're pretty powerful for a Jonin, but you're not actually a match for me. So why don't you spare both of us the headache and give me the bells?" At this, Kakashi gave a eye smile to Naruto as he said, "Well, Naruto, I do not know what you're actually thinking, but this is not the academy. I've already read your files. I know that you're pretty strong at taijutsu, and your height could already say give you advantage against those childrens, but I'm not like them. So why don't you can say, give it a try and you shall see the power of a true Jonin." As Kakashi gave Naruto a smirk at that, as Naruto simply smirked back towards Kakashi. "Well then, Kakashi, you asked for it." And just like that, Naruto's aura erupted as the sky darkened for a second, surprising Kakashi. As just like that, Naruto's hand started to glow as energy started to gather in it, as Naruto started to laugh and release the blast of energy towards Kakashi as Kakashi quickly sunshine out of the way. And just like that, a gigantic explosion took place where Kakashi was standing a second before as Naruto looked towards Kakashi with a maniac look on his eyes as he rushed towards Kakashi with blinding speed, and within seconds he has already grabbed the face of Kakashi and slammed him into the ground, while on the other hand Kakashi turned into puff as Naruto smirked. "Huh, a shadow clone, I already knew about it, so why don't you come out?" And just like that, a destructor disc appeared in Naruto's hand, rushing towards a tree, cutting it apart, while on the other hand Kakashi jumped out of it, shocked. Complete utter shock was on his face as he looked towards Naruto as if he was looking towards a monster. The chakra levels he was feeling of Naruto were out of charts like that of a cage level chakra levels as Naruto looked towards Kakashi. As Kakashi put away his book, and just like that, Chidori appeared in his hand. As Kakashi could already feel that he has to take this seriously, otherwise, this will not end well. He doesn't know what kind of training Naruto was doing all of this time, or whatever jutsu he was using at the moment. He has never seen this kind of jutsus, and he has mastered over 1,000. So he has to be careful as he rushed towards Naruto, trying to make him unconscious. But to his utter shock, Naruto grabbed his Chidori with bare hand as Naruto started to laugh. "You think that this can take down a perfect being like myself?" As Naruto made a small blast in his hand and slammed it into the gut of Kakashi. As Kakashi quickly sunshine out of the way, substituted away. As he looked towards his hand, which was shaking at the moment, the place where Naruto grabbed his hand, he could already feel that some of his bones were misplaced there. as he looked towards Naruto and started to go through hand sign, fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu as he released a lot of fireballs as two clones appeared beside Kakashi and started to go through wind style and the lightning style jutsus as all of these techniques rushed towards Naruto with blinding speed as Naruto simply started to laugh as he moved both of his hands together and just like that he clapped both of his hands as the shockwave erupted from the collision of his hand, completely destroying all the jutsus that were rushing towards him as Kakashi had a utter shock look on his face as Naruto simply walked towards Kakashi, his aura once again erupting. As Naruto's aura erupted as Kakashi took a step back in utter fear, the chakra levels he was sensing at the moment were beyond that of a cage level. He has to talk to his sensei as soon as possible. As Naruto appeared in front of Kakashi, as Kakashi quickly tried to substitute away, but to his utter shock, Naruto grabbed Kakashi by the neck and lifted him into the air. You know, Kakashi, I had high hopes for you, but it seemed that you're not as powerful as I previously thought. This is no fun. As Kakashi tried to substitute away, but he was not able to do anything as Naruto simply squeezed his neck. Kakashi could feel his life slipping away. It was like he was fighting a cage level shinobi and he's unable to do anything as he was really scared at this point. As Naruto was simply looking towards him with the bored look on his face and pushing more and more, you can say, pressure on his neck as Kakashi was at this moment simply was trying to struggle out of the way of Naruto's, you can say, grasp and his, you can say, oxygen supply was already cutting off and within seconds Kakashi was already unconscious as Naruto simply smirked at that as he simply threw Kakashi away on the ground, unconscious, as Naruto simply grabbed the bells. You two, come here. As Sasuke, who was, you can say, in utter shock, came out of the half his hiding space. All of this battle, he was frozen to the place where he was hiding previously, while on the other hand, Kiyomi had a small blush on her face even though she was trying to act tough and trying to act as if she was angry about the whole situation. As Naruto simply looked towards both of them, why don't you guys wait for Kakashi to get conscious? After some time, Kakashi finally woke up as the first thing he thought that thank God he was alive. As he looked towards his body, then he noticed that Naruto was simply looking down towards him with a smirk on his face as Kakashi quickly looked towards his belts, which were missing as he was in utter shock. He has to talk to his sensei as soon as possible about this whole ordeal. He simply could not understand how is this even possible for him to be beaten down that easily. As Naruto looked towards Kakashi, well, Kakashi, I've decided to share my accomplishment with these two. As he shown the bells, I suppose that would make up for the whole teamwork. And before you ask, yes, I already know about the whole teamwork concept. So, do we pass? At this, Naruto's aura, you can say, fluctuate a little, showing that he will deliver a beating if Kakashi doesn't agree. As Kakashi gulped a little and nodded quickly, as he said, yes, you guys pass, and we are a team now, so meet me tomorrow here. After saying that, he quickly sunshine away as Naruto simply smirked at that and started to walk away. While on the other hand, Sasuke grated his state at that. No matter how powerful he is, he's gonna become stronger. He's Sasuke Uchiha, so he's gonna train even harder. After saying that, he quickly ran away towards the direction of the Uchiha clan to ask his older brother Itachi about, you can say, more jutsus. As Naruto was walking away, suddenly Kiyomi spoke up. Hey, wait! As Naruto looked towards Kiyomi as she had a small blush on her face but trying to look tough. I have decided to give you the honor of, you can say, being on a date with me. As she was looking towards Naruto, completely arrogant look, as Naruto simply gave her a look as she said, sorry, you look like a child, and I only like more mature women. After saying that, he simply walked away, leaving a, you can say, in utter shock. Kiyomi, she was the princess of the Uchiha clan. She was never rejected in such a manner. Whatever she asked, her father and brother always gave her. And this guy has completely rejecting her as she looked towards her, you can say down, and grated her teeth. No, she will not accept it. You, Naruto, you will be my date no matter what, as she thought in her mind and decided to run off to train even harder to show him her strength. While on the other hand, Naruto simply, you can say, arrived to the village. He was going on a way, finally arriving to the dango place where a figure was simply eating dangos. Suddenly, Naruto simply vanishes and appearing behind the figure, completely engulfing her. Well, did you miss me? As Naruto said to her ear as the figure shivered a little. Well, Naruto-kun, it seemed that you have finally defeated Kakashi. As Naruto simply chuckled at that. He quickly ran off after I gave him a beating as Anko looked towards Naruto with a complete, you can say, desire in her eyes as she quickly hugged and started to kiss him violently. While on the other hand, Naruto simply chuckled inwardly as all the Jonins and Junins that were nearby were in utter shock. They already knew who Naruto was, but they also knew that he was just a Janin at this point. And while on the other hand, Kakashi has just arrived to the Hokage office as Minato was talking with Kushina as well as Jiraiya. As Kakashi quickly sunk in inside of the office, he was panting hard. His chakra levels were already low, fighting off against Naruto. It seemed that after he got unconscious, his chakra was still being utilized by his Sharingan. So that was something. As he looked towards Minato panting, as Minato was a bit surprised as he looked towards Kakashi. Kakashi, are you alright? As Kakashi looked towards Minato, Sensei, something is wrong. As Minato was completely alarmed at this point, thinking that they were being attacked by some other village. Kakashi, calm down and tell me everything. As Kakashi finally calmed down, as he said, Sensei, it's about Naruto. After the word Naruto was spoken, Kushina's eyes changed into pure cold as she was thinking what that brat has done. After all, she already knows about the whole, you can say, destiny of the Uzumaki born with that symbol on his back will bring the end of the Uzumaki clan. So therefore, he was a threat to Menma and Mito, and she will never allow something like that. As Kakashi finally decided to speak, Sensei, his power, it is truly something else. As he started to explain about Naruto's chakra levels that were above even that of a cage level, and how easily he was able to beat down Kakashi. As Minato simply shook his head, it was really not possible. Kakashi was a Jonin, a elite Jonin, already, you can say, on low cage level strength, and he has participated in the third Great Ninja War. His experience was truly something else. As he said, Kakashi, calm down. Are you really serious that Naruto was able to defeat you just like that? It is simply not possible. Alright, tell me what jutsus did he use? As Kakashi simply shook his head, explaining about the strange blast of chakra and his aura and the power he had displayed there. As you can say, Minato started to think about it as Jiraiya was thinking at the same time. It seemed that this kid is more of a taijutsu user according to the reports we have seen. As Jiraiya put up a, you can say, piece of paper. This was the report of Naruto. After all, these were the papers according to which the teams were actually made. As I said, this could be a taijutsu move he had created himself. I do not believe that he is strong enough to defeat Kakashi, did you use your full strength? As Kakashi was about to say something, but Minato spoke up. Kakashi, why don't you take some rest? It seemed that your Sharingan has depleted your chakra too much. So that could be the reason. As Kakashi was a bit confused why his sensei was not, you can say, accepting it. Not even thinking that how it was simply, you can say, too absurd for him to say that a Genin was able to defeat him. And when they asked what kind of jutsus he used, he simply said that he didn't use any jutsus, only taijutsu, his speed and power, and that strange, you can say, chakra blast in his mind. As he decided to leave at that. As Kushina speak, Minato, he's getting too powerful. I have already explained to you about the whole thing. It seemed that it was a bad idea for him to become a shinobi, Minato. We have to do something. As Minato sighed, Kushina, I understand that Naruto is, you can say, becoming stronger, but it isn't something that can be, you can say, delayed or something like that. You already know that even though he's no longer a part of the Uzumaki family, but you were in Jinchuriki and his chakra levels were already high, so it is not strange for the Uzumaki to have cage level chakra reserves. As for the power, he is a mainly Taijutsu user, so there is nothing much he could do anything about it. As for Kakashi, I believe that he was caught off guard, so do not think much about it. As Kushina was still not, you can say, happy about the whole decision, but decided to leave it at that as she quickly Sunshine away. But remember, Minato, I'm not gonna let him near Menma and Mito. As Minato sighed at that and simply nodded at that as Kushina simply sunshine away, while on the other hand Jiraiya looked towards Minato with a, you can say, knowing look on his face. As Minato sighed, don't start again, sensei. As you can say, Jiraiya sighed, Minato, I have already told you about the great thought premonition about how Manma and Mito are gonna be the saviors of the world and Naruto is gonna be the end of it. Why don't you understand it? As he looked towards Minato a bit angry, as Minato sighed, because I am the Hokage sensei, I have a responsibility to the village. If Naruto is talented, then his talent will be used for the good of the village. And if he is not, then I would have given it to you, but his chakra levels were already pretty high and he had good talent. I have already separated him from Menma and Mito, so therefore that is that, and I'm not gonna waste his talent because of you and Kushina. As Minat as Jiraiya sighed at that, but decided not to argue with Minato. After all, he has to train Menma and Mito. After all, there are other people who, you can say, match the description of the destroyer of the world. It is not just Naruto. After all, one thing is confirmed that Menma and Mito are the saviors while Naruto is on the list of the destroyer. But there is also that masked man who has released the Kyuubi. So therefore, there are still chances that Naruto is not the chosen destroyer of the world, as Jiraiya thought in his mind and decided to leave it at that. While on the other hand, Naruto was at the moment in his bed as he looked beside to see that uncle who was hugging him. As Naruto simply smirked at that, life was truly good. He was still hunting down the Utsutsuki all across the universe. Their power was truly something useful for him. As for this world, he honestly didn't care much about it. The people here were true weaklings in his eyes. One Utsutsuki was worth more than all the 5 villages combined. Well, of course, there are bijus, but he didn't care much about their power. It was not interested to him, and he was still hunting down the other Utsutskis that were still in the universe. As he smirked at that and looked down towards, you can say, Anko, who was sleeping soundly. As Naruto simply chuckled at that. Now, let us get back to Itachi Uchiha. He was, you can say, punching a tree hard. He has just asked Izumi once again for a date and she has rejected him, and this made Itachi even angrier. He already knew about the relationships Naruto had with many females all across the village, and one day he had challenged Naruto flashback, a 10-year-old Naruto who has just met with Izumi, and Izumi has for the first time rejected a date from, you can say, Itachi, and she was no longer interested in him. And Itachi did not like that, so he decided to confront Naruto. He was about to teach him a lesson with a genjutsu flashback. As Itachi looked towards Naruto, Naruto-san, I have already warned you, and this is your last warning. Stay away from Izumi. As Naruto looked towards Itachi with a bored look on his face. And what are you exactly gonna do if I reject that? As Itachi's eyes narrowed, what are your intentions towards her? Well, to be honest, she is good to the eyes, and for now, I do not have much intentions, but as for the future, well, that is something private, so you should give us some privacy, Itachi-san. As Itachi's eyes narrowed, his eyes turned Sharingan as he looked directly into the eyes of Naruto, trying to put him in a genjutsu, but to his surprise, his genjutsu didn't even work, as he was simply staring directly into the eyes of Naruto, trying to put him in a genjutsu, but it was simply not working. As Naruto simply looked towards him, so it is true, Uchiha clan is that of pure weaklings. If this is the level of the prodigy, I already know that what you're trying to do, and it will not simply work on me. So why don't you walk away, weakling? At this, Itachi gritted his teeth as he vanishes within blinding speed for a ordinary Chunin or Jonin as he appeared in front of Naruto trying to punch him. But to his surprise, Naruto grabbed his hand and started to put pressure, and Itachi almost let out a scream, but his self-control came inside, and just like that, his hand was broken, and before he could say anything, a kick slammed into his gut with such force and intensity that he immediately lost consciousness afterward. After some time, he woke up to see that several of his ribs were broken and his face on one side was swollen. It was like someone has slapped his face. Yes, Itachi afterwards started to keep an eye on Naruto and he saw several women that were attracted by this 10 years old kid and he was angry about the whole situation. He even explained it to Izumi, but she did not even pay much attention to that, which made him even angrier. And now he was looking towards his best friend Shisui, who has just explained the whole situation to him about the whole ordeal, how he had confronted him and how Naruto has said what he said about Izumi, which angered Itachi even further. It seemed that it was time that he has a talk with Hokage-sama as soon as possible. So yeah guys, here I will love this part. For the next part, if you guys have some ideas, tell me in the comment section and I will implement them in the next part. Who knows, it could even be today. So please guys, please like, subscribe and comment. So see you soon. Peace.